Hello friends, welcome to today's YouTube video, and today I have a special guest for our read aloud. Titus is here, yay! Hey, it's my bedroom's Christmas tree.
Why do you have two?
Oh no, I have four.
Wait.
Actually, this is the fifth. Today we are going to be reading The Elves and the Shoemaker by illustrations by Gail Yerrill, retold by Ronne Randall. Okay, so yeah, we are actually gonna go and begin the book reading. So find yourselves a comfy corner and we can begin, okay? The Elves and the Shoemakers, retold by Ronne Randall. Illustrations by Gail Yerrill. Alrighty, we are in our cozy corner and are ready to read. Titus is in the chair and I am on my bed, which is very comfortable actually. And I've got a nice little snuggly friend beside me
That I got for her.
Alright, so let's begin. The Elves and the Shoemakers. Actually, it's just the Elves and the Shoemaker. Anyway, ignore.
It's not a plural. It's the Elves.
Okay. Once upon a time, a shoemaker lived with his wife above his workshop. The shoemaker was a good man, and he worked hard, but he was very poor. And the day came when he had only enough leather to make one pair of shoes. You can see him right there. He looks a little bit troubled, wouldn't you say? I think he looks, what do you think, Titus? How's he look to you?
He looks like he needs Jesus right now.
That's a good expression. I mean, that's a good way, but I feel like he looks a little bit sad. The shoemaker, he cut out the leather and then left it on his workbench. I'll be able to make a better pair of shoes after I've had a good night's sleep, he told his wife as they went upstairs. All right. What? Look at these next two pictures.
Yeezys.
Those are some cool shoes.
I wonder what style shoes he makes.
Probably all different kinds, sizes. The next morning, bright and early, the shoemaker went downstairs. What a surprise he had! On his workbench, where the leather had been, there was a brand new pair of shoes. On his workbench, where the leather had been, there was a brand new pair of shoes. They were neatly and perfectly made, with not a stitch out of place. Wow. Okay, I'm going to show you this picture one more time, and I'm going to give this page to Titus to read.
These are a masterpiece, the shoemaker explained to his wife. He put them in the window, hoping someone would come and buy them.
So in my opinion, I'm seeing this guy right here, and he looks like he might be interested. What do you think, Titus? Looks like he's like, ooh, that looks like a nice pair of shoes right there. Page for the next. This is the next page. What shoes do you guys see him wearing? I feel like I might know those shoes. Let me get that. Okay. Sure enough, a finely dressed young man soon entered the workshop to try on the shoes. They fitted perfectly, and they were so handsome that the man happily paid a high price for them. With the money, the shoemaker was able to buy enough leather to make 2 new pairs of shoes. By the time he returned to his shop, he was tired, so he cut out the leather and left it on his workbench. Then he went upstairs to bed. I'm heading upstairs to bed right there.
Ew, it's a cat.
Some people like cats and some people don't.
The next morning, the shoemaker had another surprise. There on the workbench were 2 new pairs of shoes. They were even more beautiful than the first pair and were just as perfectly made. The shoemaker put them in the window, and before lunchtime, he had sold both pairs for a very good price. Now he had enough money to buy leather for 4 pairs of shoes.
All right, and these are the pictures right here. I think this shoemaker looks very nice. All right, let's look at them, see what it might say. Once again, he cut out the leather, left it on his workbench, and went upstairs to bed. And once again, he came down the next morning to find beautiful shoes, all made up and perfectly stitched. Ooh, you can see them right in that corner. That's how he left them, and that's how he woke up to them. The same thing happened every day for weeks. The shoemaker and his wife were not poor anymore. Not Ryan, huh? Here's the picture, and then I'm gonna flip around the camera so Titus can read the next 2 pages to you guys.
The shoes have been appealing as if by magic. The shoemaker said to his wife, "But someone must have made them. Who do you think it could be?" "Let's sit up tonight and watch," his wife suggested. "Maybe we can find out."
The wife looks a little bit worried, huh? Like, who might be doing this? Go ahead. Okay, so we are gonna see maybe who could it be. Do you guys have any ideas?
I think we already know from the cover.
Well, maybe they don't quite yet. All right, these are the pictures. We see the wife and the husband waiting up, and all of the string, and the little kitty cat who decided he wanted to see as well.
Its name's Fluffy. I'm naming her that.
So that night, the shoemaker left some leather all cut out and ready to sew on his workbench as usual. Then, instead of going to bed, he and his wife hid behind a curtain in the back of the shop. And they waited and waited and waited. Ooh, this is really exciting. The shoemaker and his wife were just about to go to bed when, at the stroke of midnight, the shop door opened, and in danced 2 tiny elves. They skipped up to the workbench and quickly began sewing the leather into fine new shoes. As they worked, they sang, "We will sew and we will stitch to help the shoemaker grow real rich." Soon the shoes were finished, and the little elves leapt off the workbench and danced out of the shop. Those kind of elves have helped us. We must repay them. Did you see how their clothes were? His wife asked. And their little feet were bare. Those poor little men must be freezing. Let us make some warm clothes for them, for the elves, to show how grateful we are, said the shoemaker, his wife. Ooh, this is kind of a fun picture right there.
The next day, the shoemaker's wife knitted 2 cozy jackets, 2 tiny scarves, and 2 pairs of warm pants. The shoemaker used his finished leather to make 2 little pairs of boots. The night, instead of leaving leather on his workbench, the shoemaker left the clothes and wrapped up in shiny paper and ribbons. Then he and his wife hid behind the curtains to wait. At the stroke of midnight, the shop door opened, and came the little elves.
They hopped up onto the workbench and saw the presents that had been left for them.
They opened the package. They opened the presents at once, and the twinkling of an eye, they had dressed in their brand new clothes. They knew that the presents were the shoemaker's way of saying thank you, and they did a happy dance together, singing, "Now the shoemaker groaned with there's no need to sew and stitch." This is what they're doing. Let's do this.
Now it says, they hopped off the workbench and scurried out the door. Look at these beautiful photos. Right there.
Shoes, so much shoes.
The shoemaker and his wife never saw the little elves again, but their troubles were over, and they had a good and happy life together for many long years. The end. Yeah, it's definitely not the most Christmassy story, but there is a good amount of snow, and I mean, elves are kind of Christmassy, if you know what I mean.
So basically 75 means out of 10, 7.5.
So, yeah, I'd say it's a really good book. I definitely recommend you get it, or you just watch this again if you're interested in reading it. And hopefully you enjoyed this video, and have a great day. Make sure to also follow along with this series and like and subscribe.